Welcome, Swaroop. I'm Kate Dezarnaulds. I'm the co-chair of FWA, and it's an absolute delight to be able to interview you about your success in our inaugural FWA Awards last year in the Design Excellence category. For those of you who haven't met you in person before, do you want to introduce yourself and your business, JAGA Workspaces?
Yeah, sure. My name is Swaroop Kaushik. I'm the CEO and founder of JAGA Workspaces. We primarily operate out of Canberra, and recently we opened Surrey Hills in Sydney. So we currently have 4 locations between ACT and NSW. And yeah, I'm happy to join you on this journey now.
Thank you. And tell us what inspired you to apply for the Design and Excellence Award for our inaugural awards at the conference last year?
No, look, it's a very interesting question. At JAGA, we prioritize creating inspiring, functional, community-focused work environments. The Design and Excellence Award aligned with our vision, what we wanted to achieve in co-working spaces. And so I thought, okay, let's try our luck and see what it comes out. So yes, that was the most important thing, just as a validation to what we are doing.
What do you think some of the things that were in your application that were so impressive to the judging panel? What do you put your win down to?
Look, I think I would say that the key reasons why we did was we are quite innovative in our spaces. The way we have segmented our areas or segmented our workspaces is very agile, and also it caters to a wider range of community or businesses. And I think it's also the fact that we were down to earth, right? So we just spelled out everything, what needs to be done, how it has to be done, because it's not just a design which was designed on a piece of paper. It is more about the experience behind it and the heart and soul of what we actually want to do, because I'm very passionate about flexible workspace. This is my 18th year in flexible workspace. So yeah, so I love it.
That's fantastic. That makes you one of the OGs, I reckon, for the industry in Australia, right?
Yes. I came to Australia in 2010. I used to work for Regis UK, and then came across to Australia with Regis and started Canberra location. Then I moved to Sydney, opened a few sites. So when I came to Australia, I opened the 10th location for Regis in Australia. And when I left, it was around close to 70, and I don't know the number now. I think they've come down significantly. But yeah, during the course, we did 3 acquisitions, expanded the network, and then in 2019, I left Regis. In 2020, JAGA happened.
Oh, that's amazing. That's great. And so tell us a little bit about the design sensibility for your spaces. Tell us some of the either the features or the kind of or the textures or finishes or qualities that you really that you pride JAGA on delivering.
Look, we have taken an in-depth approach for the design. When I talk about design, it's not just the 4 walls and spaces and all those things. So we have focused on scaling and refining our design principle to meet the evolution needs. Fortunately or unfortunately, we started JAGA in the middle of pandemic, or we started and then the pandemic happened. So we had to make that last minute changes to make sure the workspaces cater to the need of the people post. Well, we didn't know what the post-pandemic will look like, but in the moment of pandemic. So whether it is providing that 1.5 meters of space per person, or having single corridors, one-way corridors, the color schemes. And as we all know, we have been through the COVID part, and that was quite depressing period for a lot of people with isolation and all those things. So we've gone with the earthy colors. So we are into autumn colors of JAGA, picked individual colors, gone through a lot of intensive element of research to make sure that the colors resonate with the people, their happiness, wanting to bring out the best of them, even while we were all isolated and being individuals and all those sort of things. So I think that's the most important thing what we took care of. At the same time, we expanded the smart system, such as AI-driven workspaces, So we do use a lot of artificial intelligence. We use Salto KS for automated locks, and the software and everything has been done from day one. So I took probably about 9 months to create JAGA. Even though I had spent 14 years in co-working space, it took me 9 months in delivering the baby, literally, right? So from day one, we have been having our apps were running, all the systems were running. We've done the beta test. And luckily, because it was COVID, we had a slow progression of members trying to come and use us as a brand new business, taking their inputs, taking their advices and what they were saying and what would work and all those things. So we embedded a lot of those information into our design. So I think, I would say we've done the best we could based on the circumstances, and it has been well received by the members.
That sounds like from a process base, you're working, design is a kind of co-design with your community, and that you kind of conceptualize the technology design as being a really core part of the experience. It's not just the fixtures and the fit out, it's actually the whole member experience of your space you've conceived of as a kind of vertically integrated process. Is that a fair observation?
Yeah, you can say that, because look, I mean, having worked in multiple countries and regions across between Europe and Australia, I was exposed to a lot of design elements, I was exposed to a lot of challenges in buildings, whether it is air conditioning or you talk about the lighting or the look and feel of it. You may choose certain furniture. It may work in one property, but may not work in another property. So we had to go through the whole process of what actually works, to a fact, even selecting the TV for the boardroom. While the center was under construction, we measured the distance from the wall to the furthest where the person can sit. And then we went to Harvey Norman and measured the TV to see whether I had a USB with a spreadsheet, plug it into the TV and go back at that part to see whether you can actually see the spreadsheet. So, so everything has been very practically driven, and, it's handpicked.
That's fantastic. So what are you planning on doing to build on your success for the year or so ahead in the kind of design excellence space? What are some of the things on the shopping list now?
There are quite a few things which are in the shopping list. Look, things are evolving, as we all understand from the Flexible Workspace Association, as well as what we are all in and out of the evolution of the way the people are working and the way the people want to resonate with their workspaces. So some people want to come back to office once a week. Some people are trying to do twice a week or whatever those things, return to work. We're not sure of how things will go. I think NSW has made the call to say, bring back the people every day. Whereas ACT, no, they don't want anybody to come in, but we are trying to do things. Now, based on those things, larger groups are using this space once a week, maybe twice a week. So we're creating, I think the next generation of centers we are going to open would have more of those co-host sort of space where a group of team can come and use a specific place within the business center, whether it is a meeting room or it is just a collaboration area, or it could be an office with no furniture in it and just white walls and white boards and stuff, so they can come and sit in a funky kind of furniture, whether it is bean bags, or bring in some, creativity into that space. So not traditional offices, but I want to create some day offices which are more creative. But yeah, something in those lines. So I've got the idea. We haven't implemented it, but working through the process.
That's fantastic. I can't wait to see. For other companies in the flex space who are wanting to kind of learn from, I think, the successful formula that you have in place, have you got 2 or 3 tips? For what makes great design excellence in a flexible and co-working space?
Well, in any business, you first have to listen to what the need is, right?
Yeah.
And I say that I've said it multiple times in the duration of my service in co-working, is that it's not something what you create and tell people, look, this is what you should use. It's about creating what the need is. At the same time, you can't just keep on creating because the need changes, right? So finding that real mix of things, where you are, what is your location, what is your target market, what sort of members do you want to attract? Yes, we all want any deal is great deal for us, but at the same time, we still have to carve out the niche within ourselves because there's more and more people opening up co-working spaces and they all have their niches. And I think the most important thing is to listen to the members' feedback, look at your local newspaper or the trends which are happening, go around and see the neighborhood of the place where you're opening a co-working space, because that will tell you what the general look and feel of that environment is, and try to embed that into your space rather than being an odd man out. Because then creating a sense of belonging is very important in co-working spaces. The only way you can create that sense of belonging is to provide something which the members can resonate with, not just in your space, but in their day-to-day life. Say, for example, you said you're from Picton. Now, Picton has a lot of cafes. It's awesome. I haven't seen your place, but I would, imagine that if I walk into that, I know, okay, this is a great co-working space in Picton. But if you use that design to come to Canberra and try to do that, it may not work because the requirement in Canberra is more government related. So they want more privacy, more secured and all those sort of things. So I think it is that element which works. So even for me, it was the same situation, right? So having all my centers in Canberra where I'm 100% very comfortable being there for the last 14 years. And then coming to Surrey Hills, which is the most trendiest place in Sydney, and to take over a co-working space, but we have still embedded the similar design, but with a twist. Just to make sure that people who walk in, they don't feel like, okay, I'm in Surrey Hills, but I'm not in Surrey Hills once they walk into JAGA. So that's very important. And I think most of the times we create a template of our designs and we try to embed that template in every single location we open. I think for the operators, I would say it's great to have the template. It's great to have certain standards so people understand what it is and how it needs to be, but try to bring outside inside.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's fantastic advice. That really is. That's great. And on the tech side of things, if you had a piece of advice for where's a worthy investment, or where you've seen the biggest return on your investment for your energies and efforts in the technology or the user experience for JAGA.
Look, I mean, technology is ever evolving. You cannot have enough of it, right? So from our point of view, what we have gone is, okay, what are the technologies we need to run the co-working space? So one, you need a space management software. There's so many people who are offering. Find the one which you are comfortable using and you think your users will find it easy to use, right? So that's one. Two, your Wi-Fi, because now we are heavily involved in everything's internet based. So make sure that you are investing in the best possible softwares or technology. So for instance, JAGA we haven't taken anything else. We only use Cisco Meraki. Yes, it is the most expensive, but it is plug and play. Having a really good tech driven sort of person who understands the technology and have those connections, whether it is your members or your external parties, don't take any shortcuts in that, right? And then embedding the technology in terms of your door access. If you want to be open 24/7, maybe reach out to a cloud-based lock system to see, integrate with your software. So you can, when people make booking, they automatically get involved in that. And reduce the footprint of issuing a key or a pass, and without that they can't access things like that. Then comes your knowledge. What are the knowledge? I mean, when I talk about knowledge, it's not about the knowledge about co-working space itself. It's the knowledge about your members. How can I better consume who are our members, where are they
Mm.
coming from, what are they doing. So you got different softwares like Semrush can give you that, Hotjar can give you a holistic picture of who's using your website, what pages they're going for, where they are spending time. So same with social media. Again, you don't need to have a template to keep on your social media. We have done it. We had a template and all my posts used to be same. And then I got bored. I couldn't see any creativity. And I said, no more templates. So we just take random photos from our phone and be realistic about it. And there is a lot of other things which are coming through. AI is very, I have a love-hate relationship with AI so far. I'm not a techie. I'm not technology-driven person. So I need things to be simple to make me understand. And I think that's my value proposition as well, because I need it simple. So I think my members will need it simple. I'm not going to complicate things. So as long as you can use the AI in the right way, whether if you're embedding an AI chatbot into your website, make sure you teach the AI what it needs to be, because end of the day, it is like, teaching a child, to represent yourself, or you're employing a team member to deliver the service, but then you have to train the team member. You need to tell them who you are. What is that? We talk about SOPs, but it's more than SOPs in the co-working. It's about, let's say, for example, what is JAGA? What is that I want to sell? Do I want to sell offices? Do I want to sell meeting rooms? Do I want to sell memberships? Or do I want to sell experience? So end of the day, what is that you do? You tell the team members the same way you need to tell your AI to say, hey, this is what I am, because consistency is required. I recently came across somebody, I'm sure you would know this person too. And they were like, oh, we can embed an AI bot into your website and you don't need to respond to emails and that will respond everything. And I said, no, I'm a co-working space. I'm here, people to people connection. I don't want a robot dealing with that. So I still want to customize my responses to members. Yes, we have some basic information. You want to know about meeting rooms, I'll give you the information, but there are questions being asked. So you need to be available to respond to those things. If I say, yes, I'm a technology driven co-working space and everything is automated, maybe it will work. But at the end of the day, when the evolution happens in the technology, you're going to be left behind. So
Absolutely. I know we are sitting in this absolute kind of tension point, isn't it, between
yeah, it is. I mean, it's not
human hospitality experience and the taking the kind of systems and making them as frictionless as possible.
Yeah, we need to embed our personalities in it.
Mm.
Like when I say our personality, it's not the team members' personality, it is not the co-working operator's personality, it is about the co-working space personality. So depending on who you are and what you want to be, you need to be very strong on your personality. Don't get that corrupted.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Totally. Especially as the industry gets, like you said, more and more niches, and there's a spot for all of us, and it's
yeah.
and it needs to be driven by the brand attributes being really clearly understood by the markets out there. What about the future? What is one of your kind of, hopes or wishes for the future of our industry? What would you like to see more of?
Look, I mean, it is, I've seen the industry since 2006. So in the GFC in London, and I've seen all the stages of changes or evolution of co-working spaces. I mean, it is interesting. I had this conversation with Property Council very recently in ACT, and I was saying to them, look, when I joined, it was serviced offices, right? Then it became co-working spaces. And now I think post-pandemic, we are moving into a term called flexible workspaces. So I don't know what the next word is going to come up with, but these are the industry changes, and that does it does resonate heavily on what we are doing, because we are no longer a serviced office, right? It's not just about the service and recharging them for every single bit. And we are co-working space, but again, the co-working is also going, because when you talk about co-working, it's renting a desk in an open plan space or renting an office in a office space. We are moving more towards that flexible workspace where it's a combination of hot desking and an office and a meeting room, and the flow of the space has to be inclusive for everyone and everything. So needs to have private sections like phone booths. If you had asked me, I don't know, probably about 10 years ago, would you think of phone booths? I was like, who wants it? Right? But now we need it. So things are evolving, so we need to do those things. And I think the future, the way the space is going to be used, we are correcting ourselves, right? So all of a sudden we had a huge change in our circumstances with the COVID. It said, oh, everything is going to get reset. And people said, oh, we can work from anywhere. And now they want to come into the office because they're like a frog in a well. They don't know what's going on. So they do want that interaction. I think in the next 2, maybe 3 years period, I think we will go back to the old stage of having the office space and people coming and working together, trying to do more of a collaborative space. And while it resets, there will be a phase of changes, a huge amount of changes, I would say, because people are trialing everything. And we as humans, we have tried to live in the bush. We have bought, somebody has gone and stayed in the farmland, and it's all nice. It sounds great. But end of the day, we want to come back to civilization, right? You can't just live in the farm all the time. People live in the farm, but they go on a holiday on the most busiest place. So they come into the city for the weekends, or, oh, let's drive into the city to get some shopping. And I can grow everything in my farm, but now I want to go to the shopping center. So that change is going to happen. And I think we are going to see the more historic kind of workspaces coming back into place. The need may differ, but again, like if I say in next 10 years, most of the employees will be Gen Zs.
I know it's going to be a big shift, the
So
generation, isn't it? Yeah.
that's what we need to watch out for, not millenniums. It's nothing else. It's not about the trend. It is your users. Who are your users? Your users are going to be Gen Zs.
Yeah.
What is that they want? They don't know. So it's going to be an interesting pathway. And I think it is about, as a collective from the FWA, and I have brought it up before too, I would love to see co-working or flexible workspace or serviced office, whatever it needs to be recognized by the property council or by somebody to say,
Yeah.
you go on the listing and you say, okay, retail space, you have commercial space, and we should have that flexible workspace. Because by doing that, you're now going to educate the Gen Zs to understand, make them understand, hey, it's actually a space where you can
It's space as service. I feel like the big trend that is really kind of bedding down is that we are now selling space as a service. And so it's it's not kind of dominion over a space. It's a on-demand space, and how we have to recalibrate our operating models to be able to meet that need. And then yes, the generational quirk on top of that, because the behavior and the needs are going to be really different all over again.
Yeah. So the last 15, 20 years, we've been training or teaching people that you can actually work from co-working space, right? And it's not that it's done. We now are going to come up with a new challenge of dealing with the new generation of people. They will not understand, why can't I sit and work in a ship, or why can't I sit and work in a plane or in a beach? So to make them understand that, okay, this is how it needs to be done. I think it is a collective responsibility I'm not just saying it's from the co-working space, but from the point of universities, from the property council, from every possible businesses needs to focus on it and let them know why they need to do what they have to do.
Yeah, absolutely. The persuasion again. Now tell us, what have you done? I'm delighted with your with your success in the awards last year. Tell us, where have you put the trophy? Where does it sit, and what has winning the award meant to you?
Well, I think that winning the award meant a whole world for me. So it just gave me the boost. It was just a validation for all the hard work which has gone through it. And I don't know if you remember, I'm still emotional every time I think about it. I could not stop crying. And I get tears even today, right? So when I think about that specific thing, because as an individual, you try to do things. And sometimes it's like a performance review, right? When you're working for someone, you're doing your work and your boss is saying, okay, you're doing good job. It gives you the boost. So I felt the same thing, when I won that award, I felt like, oh, I passed my probation, or I passed my, performance review. I got it. Now I can do better. I want to do better. Uh, that's the feel I got. Where it sits, it travels actually. It goes from center to center. So we have had our members take photos of it. So that they are holding the momentum and taking photos. We had a couple of press releases, mostly in ACT part of it. And it has become a thing. So people are like, oh, where is your award, man? Yeah, it's in that center. And I'm like, okay, when is it coming back? So even the center team are like, oh, can we have it? Like, they have made a list, and every 3 months it travels. So it has been to all three centers in Canberra, but that was a very shift. So it was 2 months. I think it's been about 6 months or 7 months since that event. So it has been to all the three locations, and it back in the place where it started. So
That's fantastic, because it is the thing, which is it's
yeah.
an acknowledgement for you. It's a celebration and a talking point for your kind of team. It's a point of pride for your members to say that they are working in the place that is the recipient of the Design Excellence Award, and we hope that it is a boost to the kind of to the sales and marketing engine of JAGA Workspaces, to be able to say with pride that you were the winner of the inaugural Design Excellence Award. So thank you so much for sharing the experience and the insights. And I'm glad that after 18 years in the industry, you've taken it as your probation. I think your probation is well and truly over. I think you're the wisdom council at this point after 18 years in the industry. So it's wonderful and a real treat as somebody with a few less years on the block to be able to kind of learn from the experiences and insights. And this little series of interviews will go out so that we can energize the members to put the work into applications for this year, because it really is you've got to be in it to win it, and it is worth it when you do.
100%. And it is, active work. We are, after all, co-working or flexible workspace or co-working space, which means that we are co-working. So whether it is operators or members, we all have to work together to deliver what we want to deliver. And of course, we all need to make money, but that's not the whole point. It's about being proud of this industry and being proud that, okay, we are doing something. We are the innovators. We are delivering this workspace. So a lot of businesses can strive, they can be successful. And we have the amazing opportunity to be part of that success story in so many businesses. And I think it's the best award you can get.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Swaroop. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Kate, for your time and the interview.